Welcome to Faith Encouraged. I'm Father Barnabas. Here's today's homily.
Good morning. Christ is in our midst. It was a busy week last week. It's going to be a busy week coming up this week too. I like it. It proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that I'm not yet ready for the old folks' home. I spent Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at a men's retreat near the Alabama line in Villa Rica, Georgia, and it was an amazing time. I'll share with you more about that later on because one of the folks that had to do presentations was me, and I had put together a presentation on brotherhood and what it means to be a brother and the necessity of having strong men. And let me just say this, folks, and this is not thrown off on our ladies at all, because ladies, God bless you. Thank God that you're here, because you basically keep us showered and we brush our teeth, and we're not barbarians, for God's sake. You're the most civilizing presence we have. Thank you so much. We'd live under a tree and eat bark if you weren't here, so thank you. But the reality is, the strength of a parish is directly tied to the strength of her men. And if the men are committed, purposeful, Orthodox Christians, and they are accountable to one another, that sense of brotherhood creates a strong presence, and it creates a strong parish. It's the reason why, dear ones, the enemy of our souls wants one thing more than anything in the world, and that is to isolate men. Did you know that men suffer from suicide 51% more than women do? Did you know that the average man, especially in this day and age right now, in the age of technology and gaming and all this other stuff, many men who are Generation X and younger report no close friends. None. Without close friends, the chances of men suffering from dementia shoots through the sky. Blood pressure goes up. There's a physical connection, brothers and sisters, for loneliness in men. And it's something that I'm increasingly more convinced that as our men's ministry continues to grow and continue to develop, this is one of the building blocks of our spiritual health. It's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful to God for this day today that we commemorate St. Nektarios of Egina. And those of you who have seen the movie The Man of God, then you know the St. Nektarios story and how he was horribly persecuted because of jealousy. Now notice, it wasn't the rank and file that were jealous of St. Nektarios. It wasn't the people who were upset at St. Nektarios. Guess who was mad at St. Nektarios? His brother bishops. These mediocre men around him, and by the way, folks, let me say this really quick, and one of the reasons why sometimes I tend to get in trouble because my mouth runs ahead of my brain. That's all right. The sound of my voice comforts me, so that's nice. Mediocrity will expend its last ounce of energy protecting itself from excellence every time. Excellence scares mediocrity to death. That's the reason why men who are mediocre are always jealous, and they're always upset when someone else shows that they have strength of character and they have a commitment to the faith. It's the reason why jealousy among the clergy is the ugliest expression of Antichrist spirit. He says that pounding the pulpit hard. And that's what happened to St. Nektarios. St. Nektarios was treated horribly by his brothers, was treated horribly by his spiritual father. And yet it did not move him. He stayed in love with Jesus Christ. It's exactly what the Apostle Paul says today to the Galatians. You know the story of the Galatians, right? The Galatians are mainly a Gentile church. They're converts. Sound familiar? They're mainly a convert parish. And in that convert parish, there was a group of lifelongs who knew better about these poor, ignorant, backward, one-eyebrowed, crazy converts. We know better. We'll go up there and tell them that if you're really going to be Christian, you got to become Jewish first. You have to be circumcised. You have to follow the law before you can be a real Christian. And when Paul heard that these, what he calls, these were guys from Jerusalem that went up. I always worry about visits from the headquarters. Guys from Jerusalem went up there and told them that, and the Apostle Paul hit the roof when he found out that the parish that he had planted of mainly Gentile Christians were being sold a bill of goods about they had to follow the law, which none of the Jews were able to do in the first place. And he even says that in the passage. He says, even these people who are telling you, oh, you've got to follow the Torah, they don't follow the Torah. I've seen them eating pork chops. I just added that. That's not in there. But the reality is, they wanted them to follow the Torah like even though they couldn't follow the Torah, so that they would not be, this movement of Christianity wouldn't stand out. Because you see, folks, Judaism was a legal religion in the Roman Empire. And because it was a legal religion, they didn't get any persecution. And now all of a sudden, if these Gentiles start calling themselves Christians, that's going to raise the awareness of Christianity in the world. And being raised, and the awareness of Christianity being raised in the world, do you know what that means? That means the Romans are going to come down hard on them, and they didn't want to face persecution. They wanted to avoid causing problems. And the Apostle Paul wrote and said, listen, you got to understand something. Just like St. Nektarios, the Apostle Paul said, I am crucified to the world, and the world is crucified to me. I'm not worried about being seen as acceptable. And folks, listen, this is what's going on right now with all this flood of converts coming into the Orthodox Church. Do you understand? This is causing some challenges. And it's causing challenges from people who want orthodoxy to be tamed. They don't understand that orthodoxy isn't a philosophical idea. Orthodoxy isn't a religious structure. Orthodoxy is a way of living that will always set you on opposition to the spirit of darkness every time. You won't have to stand up and be like the groypers who are saying stupid stuff online. Those of you who know what the groypers are, good. If you don't know, good too. These idiots online that do nothing but say idiotic, stupid stuff just to get clicks. This is about raising money, folks. You do get that, right? So when you see these whack jobs, and I'm not even going to say his name, you see these anti-Semitic people running their mouths, it's for clicks. They're playing you. You're being played. Orthodox Christianity is already opposed to darkness in all of its forms, and that includes all hatred and all prejudice. It is already going to set you in opposition to the spirit of the world, and that's the reason why the Apostle Paul could say, I am crucified to the world, and the world is crucified to me. On this Sunday that we remember St. Nektarios, I want you, especially those of you who are seekers and those of you who are catechumens, we're about to receive a big group of folks into the church this Christmas. And we're going to get another big group of folks ready to come into the church this Pascha. Christianity is already diametrically opposed to the spirit of the age. It is diametrically opposed to the immorality of the age, the madness of the age that says that a man can become a woman and a woman can become a man, and all you have to do is reduce everything to the physical, and therefore everything is material. Christianity is opposed to that lie. Do you understand me? It's a lie. And it's death. Christianity is opposed to the spirit of death. Christianity is about life. It is a lifestyle, especially my seekers and my catechumens, listen to me. It is a lifestyle. It isn't about being right, folks. It's about being righteous. It isn't about being acceptable, and it isn't about it isn't about moving in the proper groups of people where you're invited to all the finest cocktail parties. Christianity is opposed to the spirit of the age that reduces everything to that which is temporary and focuses your life on that which is eternal. If you practice Christianity, folks, the way it's supposed to be practiced, the world is going to consider you crazy. Got it? Oh, I don't want to be considered crazy. Then angels, take up basket weaving or join the Elks Club. Christianity is going to put you in a diametrically opposed position to a world that is gripped by madness and death. But it is not, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to get online and be an ortho bro and start condemning all the Jews or all the Muslims or all the right or all the left or any of the other foolishness that falls into the spirit of the age that reduces everything, that reduces politics to religion. Your way of life is going to do that. You don't have to say a word. If you decide to be like the Apostle Paul and say, the world is crucified to me and I to the world, all of the silly conspiracy theories will start finding their place. In fact, if every one of the conspiracy theories are true, so what? I told a boy this past week, he came to me brokenhearted. His mother was a Pentecostal pastor, and she got cancer, and she was on her deathbed. She looked at her son and said, "Why didn't Jesus heal me?" And he said, "Father, I didn't know what to say." I said, "Son, Jesus did heal your mom." Every person gripped by the temporary is going to think that physical death is the worst thing that can happen to a person. And it isn't. If you're going to embrace Christianity, folks, you're going to embrace an attitude of eternality that will finally put all of this temporary stuff in its proper place. And you will find yourself freed from having to live in such a way that you'll make sure you're acceptable by all the right folks. I am crucified to this world. And this world is crucified to me. It's the reason why Saint Nektarios never lost his childlike grace. It's the reason why Saint Nektarios, on his deathbed, was shocked when Jesus came and said, "Nektarios, come with me." And he rises up off of his bed and says, "Are you speaking to me, Lord?" The man's heart was so pure he was shocked that the King of the universe knew his name. And yet he did. Because St. Nektarios had decided that Orthodox Christianity is a lifestyle and not a set of philosophical ideas, but something to be lived, not something simply to be argued about. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen.
Thanks for watching. If this ministry helps you, please like, subscribe, and share this video. It makes a huge difference. Go to Fr. Barnabas Powell at Substack and get our daily devotionals. To support us, you can visit faithencourage.org and click the donate link. You can also reach me by email at frbarnabas@faithencourage.org. God bless you, and remember to seek Christ above all else.